Okay, we're back with another BTS of GTS, and this time we are back with the Killers, and we're back on Rome, but this time with Brandon. Okay, let me set the scene. We are post-sound check, waiting for the show, and we kind of wanted to get out. It was a nice day. It was actually really hot, but at this point it was getting nice. And we just wanted to get some exercise, and our buddy Giorgio, who we're with, who is from Rome, brought us to this really cool spot. And at the end of our run, I walked, they ran. At the end of their run, we stopped a couple photos. So this photo I think is funny because he's wearing workout clothes and it ended up on the cover of NME. You know, whatever it takes. For this photo I was using the Nikon D4, 400th of a second at f5, ISO 1000, and shooting with a 24-70, almost as wide as the lens goes at 27 millimeters. These kind of photos, I like to underexpose the image. I'd like to keep a little bit of this glow here, this warm glow, but I don't want it to look too HDR. I mean, HDR, portrait HDR is really one of the worst looking photos you could possibly take. No offense, it is. And yeah, I just basically, set them up on this grass field along the road, and we snapped a couple photos. It just kind of worked out. The light was really great, so I purposely was underexposing here. So let's move to the raw file here. So the raw file, it's not too different, but I definitely enhanced some of the colors and the lighting a little bit. So I really didn't want to blow out any of these highlights in the back. So again, shooting at 1000 ISO. If I was doing this again, probably would have brought that ISO down to like 400. Maybe shot at more like f4 and like 125th of a second. I don't know. You can do the math there. That's just a guess. So yeah, let's check out what I did. First thing, changed the color temperature really, basically nothing, but brought the exposure up a touch. Highlights way down. Now, sometimes I'll do this as sort of like a starting point to see how it's looking. If the sky, especially like the orange, is looking super fake, basically, I'll come back and tone that highlight back and forth. A photo like this where there is a high dynamic range, I'll probably start all the way at 100 and then I'll kind of pan it back and forth to see how it looks, because the last thing I want is for it to look fake and have that really horrible HDR look. Okay, highlights down, shadows up. Again, this is further up than I'm probably going to want the photo to look, but this is going to kind of be like a baseline. Blacks down. Clarity up a touch. Oh, and cropped in a bit. Once you bring the blacks down, it kind of balances out that shadow, how I brought the shadow up. And to me, the sky doesn't look HDR or like super fake. So I felt like this is kind of a good ending point for this photo, because I did want to show sort of at the end of the day, this nice warm Italian countryside, even though we were, a couple miles outside of Rome. And that is the photo. So I was super surprised then when I started getting all these alerts on my phone one day, and I could tell something was up, and they had used this photo for the cover of the NME's Glastonbury edition. And if you ask me, NME maybe edits the photos a little too much. I mean, I edit and kind of stop there, but it's okay. It was still cool to see it on the cover. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this episode. And I have this new thing going called Loud Pictures, where I'm partnering with photographers to sell prints, part of which is going towards Music Cares charity for out-of-work music employees. So if there's a photographer you want to see me talk to, let me know, because I've been collaborating with a lot of them lately. So, see ya.